Okay, we're going to look at how to remove a halogen headlamp today. And there's a couple different ways to approach this problem. In this case, if you come up here and take a look, we've got this entire assembly. The headlamp is actually located behind here. You could theoretically remove the battery, reach in behind there, twist that bulb, and pull it out. But actually, it's much easier just to remove the entire headlamp assembly. So, all we're going to do is we're going to remove these. There's 4 bolts here that we have to take off in order to do this. You got to be careful because on some headlamps, some of these bolts actually adjust the aim of the lamp and not necessarily remove the headlight. So you see over here you've got a very special screw here that controls the height and angle of our headlamp. So if we want to change the way it looks, we can control it here. They even put a leveling bubble in here so that we can see how level it is. Now, this last one's kind of tricky. You see that these obviously hook to the body panel, but this one also hooks to the bottom. Just hooks to the bottom instead of to the top. And that one really doesn't have to be removed in its entirety, just loosened up. So then, this whole headlight assembly comes out like this. See how this last one's more like a clamp down here instead of actually a bolt to hold it on. Now, we turn this sideways, and then this lamp should come out of here, like that. Usually when this happens, this piece stays connected to the bulb. So you would have to remove that as well. This time it just fell off for some reason. Remember, don't touch the headlamp with your fingers as oil will be stuck to the bulb, and then when it heats up, that oil will cause the bulb to explode. Now, we've got our new headlamp, whichever number it happens to be, and we're going to reinstall it. So remember the order that we took this apart in. First thing we're going to want to do here is put this back into place. And there's only one way this can go in. This has not only these large plugs out here, but you notice up here it has smaller grooves that have to plug into the channel down inside here. So this piece faces straight up most of the time, and it locks in like that. Then our headlamp ring goes over the top. That locks into place. And lastly, our plug goes back in like that. Like I said, usually this plug stays attached until you have the whole thing out, and you have to like reassemble that piece differently. So that's an example of how to replace it on this car. So we're going to reassemble this in reverse order. So we're going to make sure that bottom one way down in there gets lined up first, because that's the tricky one. Like that. Now that I've got that one lined up down there, I'm going to go ahead and remember, don't ever tighten all the bolts before you get them all started. So we're just going to get that a little bit tight. We'll get this one started. So that one's started. We'll get this one started. We get this one. And now that I've got them all started, I can go ahead and tighten them up. Never over tighten these bolts, as all these screws, this stuff right here is just a piece of plastic, and it's very easy to break it off. So just a little bit of tightening, not really tight. Okay, so that's how we remove this headlamp and replace the headlight. Okay, so on our 87 Toyota Camry, this car has a lot of room in here, and it's very easy to work on. You can see I don't know what they originally planned to put here, but there's a lot of extra space. So to remove the headlamp on this car, we can actually come from the back side. So if you come around here and take a look, this is simply a matter of notice which way this plug starts. This plug faces straight up when we start. So there's a black ring. We simply twist that ring, and look at that. Out comes the whole assembly. Then we push down on the button on the back, and the headlamp should come right out like that. Notice that the ring is between the headlamp and the clip, so when you put it back together. Now, same thing, this clip has to be facing straight up, so we're going to put the headlamp back in that way, facing straight up. Remember to never touch the bulb. We can then lock our ring around the outside, so that's nice and tight in there. Then we simply take our connector, plug it back in, and that's the easiest light bulb you'll ever have to change.